On the news tonight, Anambra State government introduces free BP check in all primary health centers across the state. Real estate agents and developers agency bill scales second reading in Anambra State Assembly. National Assembly workers demand return to contributory scheme. From the foreign scenes, 4 children die in suicide attack in Pakistan school bus. Before the news in detail, here's a special message. Security is here to stay in Anambra State. In the Anambra security is everyone's business. If you see something, say something. Remember the emergency numbers 5111 and 0800220008. Good evening and welcome to the evening news. My name is Uchechukwu Ebonam. Anambra State government has commemorated the 2025 World Hypertension Day with the assurance that checking blood pressure will henceforth be free of cost in all the primary health care centers and government-owned secondary facilities across the state. Addressing the press, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, said that the last 2 years they did what they called Solution Know Your Number, which helps people to live longer and happily, measure blood pressure accurately and monthly. Health correspondent Chibuzo Okoye tells us more.
Health Commissioner urged people who have high blood pressure to maintain their drugs so that they cannot trigger stroke, saying that the day is of critical importance as it presents another opportunity to raise awareness about hypertension, one of the most prevalent yet often overlooked non-communicable diseases. Dr. Obidike noted that in Anambra, hypertension remains a major public health concern, prompting the government to implement several aggressive campaigns and programs aimed at reducing the burden, saying that out of 2,362 individuals screened, 651 were diagnosed with hypertension.
The numbers that we know that is very dangerous, that you're supposed to know, is your blood pressure, your sugar, cholesterol, and your body mass index.
The permanent secretary of the Anambra State Ministry of Health, Dr. Obiagelu Ucheibu, called for more sensitization and awareness creation about things that should be avoided for people not to have high blood pressure, such as alcohol and more sugar intake, among numerous others. The state head of medical services, Dr. Ugochukwu Lobelu, was present during the media briefing, even as the theme for this year's campaign is measure your blood pressure accurately, control it, live longer. In Oka, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
A cross-section of concerned Nigerians have been calling for the scrapping of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) because of the recent technical failure which affected over 300,000 candidates from Lagos and several states in the southeast. Though most of the affected candidates have receipt for the computer-based test CBT examination over the weekend, detentions, trauma, resources, and life wasted may take years to be gotten over. Correspondent Queen Anibogo got people's reactions on the way forward and now reports.
Education Secretary of Diocese of Nnewi Anglican Communion, Venerable Charles Nnemeka, speaking on the issue, said it is a known fact that no organization is above error. Still, it is quite unfortunate that such technical glitches should be happening in this age and time, describing it as an indictment against JAMB as they claimed glitches were targeted against a particular section of the country. He faulted JAMB for not giving parents and candidates enough time to prepare for the rest hours after the examination. The body admitted error on its part, noting that with the way JAMB handled the whole issue, when the results came out, they might not be better than what the candidates already had, and added that if he were to be in the shoes of JAMB Registrar, Professor Ishak Oleyede, the best thing for him to do is to resign from the job. Venerable Nnemeka also called for JAMB to be scrapped, saying that what the body is doing, the universities can equally do so as obtainable in Western countries.
Within under 12 hours, they have to go and print their new slips. And what we saw in the slips was that some people were shifted from their former position, former centers. In fact, the whole thing, I think that They wanted us to believe that they wanted to help the situation, to rectify the situation, but the way they went about the whole issue doesn't show that they are ready to rectify it.
The principal of Community Secondary School, Oko, Mrs. Ifoma Enekwechi, who sat for JAMB in the 80s, said that scraping JAMB is not the answer to the technical failure, but JAMB should revert to the era of using pen and paper to write the examinations, since it seems like Nigeria is not yet ready for CBT examinations. She advised that the proposed writing of WAEC and NECO with CBT should be shelved for now to avoid a repeat of what happened to JAMB this year and until Nigeria is ready for such an examination method.
The people that are in charge should do something about it so that such an experience will not occur. Now, I don't think Nigeria can do it. Left for me alone, I will advise them, let's continue with pen and paper until when we are ready.
A bill for a law to provide for the establishment of the Anambra State Real Estate Agents and Developers Regulatory Agency has passed through the second reading in the Anambra State House of Assembly. The bill was sponsored by the member representing Nnewi South 1 constituency, Honorable Nonso Atuchukwu. House of Assembly correspondent Emmanuel Chibata tells us more.
Leading debate during the plenary, Honorable Atuchukwu revealed that the bill is intended to create and empower an agency that will be responsible for coordinating and regulating the activities of estate agents and developers to ensure fair, credible, and healthy land and development transactions in the state. In their contributions, the majority leader and member representing Ekusigo constituency, Sir Ikenna Ofodeme, member for Anaosha constituency 2, Honorable Ejike Okechukwu, his Onitsha North 2 counterpart, Barrister Patrick Okafor, as well as Honorable Anthony Muobike and Honorable Golden Ilo representing Agwata 2 and Ihiala 2 constituencies, respectively, among others, noted that the bill, when passed, will help to sanitize the state housing sector and solve the problem of abandoned properties and resales of lands and also fake agents.
I think that if this bill passes into law, Mr. Speaker, is going to take care of all these problems surrounding it. And our people can take a breath. They can actually have a breath of fresh air, knowing that now you can go and buy a piece of land and go home and sleep without having to worry that if you don't secure the land, that is going to go off your fingers the next minute.
Also, side, paid the sum of 10 million naira to acquire a plot of land, only for them to be called yesterday and ask that they paid to the wrong hand. In fact, I don't know what they said. It wasn't even the wrong hand. That they went to court, that they need to pay additional 6 million per plot. So these are the anomalies this bill, when passed to law, will cure. Because people will know whom they are dealing with.
Our land is really being abused by such unscrupulous elements. And the damage they cause is irredeemable. It is only a bill like this when passed into law that can put to bring such people in.
The Speaker, Right Honorable Somtochukwu Udeze, who described the bill as important and beneficial to Anambra, especially in the overall transformation of estates and other housing needs of the state, referred the bill to the House Committees on Lands and Judiciary for further legislative deliberations. Emmanuel Shibata for ABS News.
South African has called for collaboration with the Anambra Broadcasting Service in promoting and advocating for all-inclusive participation in the electoral process. South Africa CEO Jake Appel made the call when he led his team on a courtesy visit to the managing director of ABS in his office in Oka. Correspondent Justice Onyemobi has the report.
South African is a disability-inclusive champion that ensures that disability communities are being carried along, recognized, and created interventions within Nigeria and some African countries and the world. In his opening remarks, Jack Epele, the founder and CEO of South African, appreciated the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwumasoludo, for appointing Mr. Christopher Moloku to pilot ABS affairs, expressing optimism that he is going to deliver on the job as a veteran in the media industry.
You are the voice of the voiceless. We depend on you to amplify our voice, and you have been doing that, and we have come to thank you and to say that the reward for hard work is more work.
Mr. Epele also said that there is an ongoing program in 3 senatorial districts of the Anambra state aimed at bringing the community of physically challenged persons face to face with INEC officials to sensitize them on the need to vote and be voted for, saying that it is their right. While welcoming the team, the MD CEO of Anambra Broadcasting Service, Mr. Christopher Moloku, assured South African of the organizational support, saying that ABS is ever ready to collaborate with the group in disseminating the information across all boards, stressing that physically challenged persons needs a voice in the society.
Why not so much energy being put into this? This is, we're talking about people's lives and his words are putting down. Being born an albino is not a curse. And so these people should not feel like they are cursed.
Present during the courtesy visit were the Director of Legal Services of Anambra Broadcasting Service, Mrs. Juliet Amasiato, Director of Programs, Anambra Broadcasting Service, Mrs. Neka Ekunife, and some top officials of South Africa.
Jubilation filled the air at Ifito Ogwari, Agamelum local government area of Anambra State, following the successful test run of the Lower Anambra Irrigation Project, LIPE water pumping system, which was abandoned for over 3 decades. This development has set the stage for a resumption of dry season farming in the area. Ngozi Obleri has the details.
Agricultural Transformation Agenda Support Program Phase 1 (ATASP-1), which is the implementing agency, is a federal government intervention program conceived by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security with funding from the African Development Bank with an overall objective of enhancing food sufficiency in Nigeria. The chairman of Ayamelum Rice Farmers Association from Ifito Ogwari, Mr. Meka Madubuko, and some other farmers in the area, including Mr. Cletus Obiora from Omo, Mrs. Philomena Machie, also from Omo, Mr. Clement Ekwozo from Ifito Ogwari, and Mr. Michael Eduzo from Umumbo, showered immeasurable gratitude to the President of the Federal Government, AFDB, ATAPS-1, and others for making their dream of dry season rice farming a reality through the rehabilitation of the pumping station. Meanwhile, the farmers expressed reservations over the huge cost of running the pumping machine on diesel as they appealed to Governor Chukwuma Soludo to urgently provide them with a 5,000 kVA step-down transformer and connect the Lower Anambra Irrigation Project, LAIP's pumping station, to the national grid. I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
Still to come on the news tonight, National Assembly workers demand return to contributory scheme. 4 children die in suicide attack in Pakistan school. The news returns shortly after the break.
Breaking news. The home is under attack by stains, disease-causing germs, and so much more. An all-out war. But not for long, because Hypo is here.
Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Protect every day with Hypo. Dirty and stains, no do shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo. Cleaning every surface, sanitizing home. Shine every corner, enter every corner. Your sitting room, kitchen, even the toilets. For cleaning, Hypo now, no lose guard, protect your home with Hypo now.
And just like that, the day is saved. Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo go Hypo.
Ọ bụkwaghị naanị nri dị mma ka anyị chọrọ nri na-edozi ahụ ọtụtụ akwụkwọ nri mana anyị chọkwara ka ọ dị ezigbo ụtọ. Knorr Cubes ọ bụ ya bụ ihe nzuzo eji ngwa nri na-edozi ahụ were mepụta dịka anụ ọkụkọ, pasili, galik ma jupụtakwa na iron iji mee ka nri gị na-edozi ahụ ma dịkwa ezigbo ụtọ. Ọ bụ ya bụ eri amịcha aka nke ahụ bụ ọkaibe ka anyị tụlee ya ugo.
Gbanwee ụwa gị site n'ịgbanwe ihe dị n'efere gị.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Shout my teeth fresh now, but you know I beg no be so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world? For zero cavities and long-lasting fresh breath. Mom, it's your turn to brush. Mama and Papa buy up, use up and shine your smile. No more cover mouth. Because with Colgate, that will do ya down with your smile.
Welcome back to the rest of the news. From the federal scenes, workers of the National Assembly Service Commission have called for their re-enrollment into the contributory pension scheme 2 years after a law removed them from the scheme. Their demand was made known at a stakeholder engagement session on the review of the Pension Reform Act 2014, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Pensions in Abuja. The clerk of the National Assembly, Kamoru Ogunlana, in a memorandum submitted to the committee, disclosed that the service was seeking to return to the CPS. Ogunlana said management had reconsidered its position despite the establishment of a separate pension board. The National Assembly Service Pensions Board Establishment Act, signed in April 2023, under the Muhammadu Buhari administration, created an independent pension board for assembly staff, effectively exempting them from the PRP 2014. However, the implementation of that law has yet to commence. From the foreign scenes, a bomb attack on a school bus in Pakistan's Baluchistan region has killed at least 5 people and injured dozens. Police said that the bus was carrying over 40 school children when it exploded at about 7:40 local time, which outside the remote town of Kujda, and 4 of the 5 people killed were children. Pakistan's Interior Minister Mushin Naqvi condemned the incident as sheer barbarism, calling the attackers beasts who attack children in an attempt to destabilize the country. Its military has accused neighboring India and its proxies in Baluchistan of orchestrating the explosion, though there is no evidence of this. And from the world of sports, the head coach of the Super Eagles, Eric Chile, has left Victor Osimhen and Ademola out of the squad to play Ghana in the Unity Cup. This was confirmed after the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, released the list of invited players. Osimhen and Lookman will also miss Nigeria's games against Russia. However, there is a return of goalkeeper Maduka Okoye, Frank Onyeka, Kelechi Iheanacho, and captain Ahmed Musa. Before we go on tonight, remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS TV for many parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at ABS Television, or follow us on all social media platforms at ABS Radio TV. And now the main points that made the news again tonight. Anambra State Government has introduced free BP check in all primary health centers across the state. Real estate agents and developers agency bill has scaled second reading in Anambra State Assembly. National Assembly workers have demanded return to contributory scheme. And finally, from the foreign scenes, 4 children has died in suicide attack on Pakistan school bus. Remember the emergency numbers 5111 or 0800 2200 My name is Uche Chukwu Ebenam. Thank you so much for staying with us on the news tonight. Good night.